Reed, you want to go ahead and get started?
No problem. How you doing, Joe?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I want to ask you two questions. First one is what is it like for you to go up against Adrian Peterson on Sunday?
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking earlier this week when I have a vivid memory when I was in like 5th or 6th grade playing running back in elementary school, and he was at Oklahoma, tearing it up, just telling my grandma I was going to be like Adrian Peterson one day. So it's surreal to be playing against him now. He's been playing in the league for a long time. It doesn't look like he slowed down a step. So that's longevity at the running back position that you don't see very often anymore. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
And the second question, can you give me a reaction? Just you're gonna probably be playing beside a new linebacker, but just the transaction. You guys have made a lot of transactions trying to get the right fit, or it's been COVID, or a whole lot of transition going on there. Just what your thoughts about that, and do you have to get adjusted to new guys, or what?
Yeah, they say NFL stands for not for long, and whether that means that your career's not long, coaching's not going to be here for long, or their team's not going to be together for very long. It just holds true. And the longer you're in the league, you just kind of realize that every year there's going to be a lot of transition at every level of the organization, and you got to just be able to get into it and get comfortable with that. And when it happens, not let it affect you as much. So when you get new guys in, you just got to take them along, try to teach them how the things are going, like how the locker room vibe is, how the scheme on the field, how everybody's gelling, and just take them under your wing and keep going. So you can't let it affect you. And everybody who's in the building, when they're here, when they're in the building, they're family, and you just got to treat it like that.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. All right, let's go over to Gene.
Hey, Joe, when you think about what's already gone down in this NFL season, with we've seen 9 games get moved, including your game with the Chargers, and and if you want to throw college football into it, I guess you could as well. How big of an accomplishment do you think it would be if they actually got this NFL season in, and all the games were even if they're not played on the date they were originally scheduled, they somehow find a way to get all these games in?
Yeah, if that happens, I think that would just be huge, and I think that would prove to somebody that protocols and being smart and taking care of yourself works to an extent. If everybody in the NFL, there's a couple thousand guys playing, and then many more thousand guys people around, and the staffs that are in the building on a daily basis. And if you can prove that if everybody's able to just be smart with their comings and goings, wear masks, socially distance when at all possible, and we're able to get all these games in playing a contact sport on the field with 22 guys in close proximity, sweating, breathing heavy on each other. And I think it'll be a big accomplishment for the NFL, and it'll set a standard for, I think, maybe the rest of the leagues. And obviously basketball and them in the bubble, which we can't really do, but it'll set a standard that people can follow.
As a follow-up, what has been the talk, if any, amongst your players in the locker room about what happened with the Tennessee Titans? And do they look upon it as a sort of an outlier thing? Do they feel like they're going to blame them a little bit, or just an unfortunate incident?
I think it's just the way the world is right now. Obviously we're not in their building. We don't know exactly what's going on and what their problems are, but it's like people all around the world, you can be as safe as possible. You could still catch COVID from just following along with all the news outlets and the media and what everybody's been saying. So I think you just got to take it as a one-off, like that happened to them. They're able to, obviously, they move their games around, and they're still able to get the games so far will be scheduled and will be played. So it's something that we're just going to have to live with this year. Hope it doesn't happen to your team. Hope you guys can be as best and as safe as possible and avoid those kind of things. But I think you're going to see that stuff pop up from time to time over the season. And as long as you're being smart and you can limit it, like 2 weeks isn't a huge deal in the grand scheme of things if you can get the games back, and be able to play the whole season.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Gene. Let's jump over to Demetrius.
Hey, Joe. Entering week 6, how do you feel you've played over the past 5 weeks, and just where do you think you need to improve on?
Yeah, it's been a learning experience for sure. It's the first 6 games, first live reps in this scheme, in this system. It's going to takes getting used to, but just feel more comfortable every week, and just got to keep on improving on making plays on the ball when it's available. I think the biggest thing you can do is get to the right spots and make some plays. And there's been a few times where I've been able to get to a zone or get to an area and have a shot at getting the ball back for our team, and just got to capitalize on those plays. But communication has been good. Obviously, there's been a lot of comings and goings in the starting lineup and the guys on the field, but I think the communication has just been getting better and better. And as long as we can keep building on it, I think we'll be good.
And if Miles is able to come back, how big would that be for you guys?
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, he's been in the system almost one of the longest on the team, so he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's seeing on the field, and you're able to talk back and forth pre-snap and bounce keywords, code words off of each other and help each other play faster. So it's big. Having him out there would be huge, and I mean, he's a great guy to play against, and he's been playing well when he's been out there.
Thanks, Joe.
Yep.
All right, thanks. Looks like that is the last question for you, Joe, unless anyone else wants to jump in at the last second. Mark?
Yeah, I will. I just want to ask him what he knows about Correa. I mean, you guys played. I guess you were in the same division for a couple years. I don't know, if you even met him then.
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember blocking him once on like a punt return, and he was on punt, and he was really fast. It was like a rookie year. But he just seems that one of those tough-nosed guys. Came from Boise State. Going to be out there, going to play hard whenever he's on the field. You just got to get him caught up in the system and get him out there, and he's going to play. He's going to play his butt off. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
Thanks, Mark, and thanks, Joe. You're all done.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Joe.
your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Amanda.
All right, Jared's going to be
You're
here
gonna-
shortly. So. Question.
Hey, Jarrod. In addition to you being able to get back on the field last week, which certainly helped the defense, can you talk about Sidney Jones being the spark that he was, and what you've seen of this guy's ball skills being in practice with him for the limited amount of time you have?
Yeah, pretty much since Sidney's got here, he's been doing just a great job. Obviously, we're a press corner team, so I think he just does a really good job of getting hands on, and he's long outside. That's not typical of every corner. Able to get his hands on a couple of balls Sunday, which definitely helped us.
Okay, thanks.
All right, if anyone else has a question for Jarrod, you can raise your hand or just jump in at this point. There we go. Brian Sexton. Go for it.
Hey, Jarrod. Talk about the opportunities that you created as a defense last week for the offense. While you were out, there weren't a lot of them. Last week you created them. How much momentum can that, whether they take advantage of it or not, how much momentum do you guys get from that?
Well, first off, I don't want to put the onus all on me as far as me coming back and giving the sparks. I just really kind of tried to come in and do my job, but it's obviously we kind of want takeaways. It gives our offense another opportunity to get points on the board. So that's a key of emphasis every week for our defense, and we were able to do that on defense, but it didn't translate to a win for us. But same model for this week is to take the ball away from Detroit.
What's the challenge, especially in the secondary where communication is key? What's the challenge? You've been gone for a couple weeks. Jones got his first action last week. Daniel Thomas stepped in last week and had 7 tackles. You've kind of got to make the soup and eat it the same day and put all the ingredients in and hope that it tastes good, right? I mean, can you give me an idea of how difficult, what a challenge it is to be able to play well with a group of guys you may have never played with before?
Well, it's really just next man up. That's how football is. So it doesn't really matter if the starter's in there or the backup. I've been a backup myself for a couple of years, and the same expectations are expected of you when you come in the game. So I think DT, he came in and did an amazing job for us. Brandon Watson has gotten reps. You've seen while I was down, Dewey was starting. He did his thing. So pretty much any guy in, it's next man up, and everybody has a role, and you just have to play it and execute.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. All right, Gene, you're next.
Hey, Jarrod, I'm just wondering, while you unfortunately had to be sidelined, how difficult was it for you to just the frustration of being sidelined while the defense was obviously having some struggles during that period while you were out?
Well, in general, I haven't been injured too many times in my life, knock on wood, but it definitely was tough just sitting back watching the guys. But for the most part, I was really just trying to get my hamstring as healthy as possible so I can get back out there. It was very difficult for me to watch, but I'm just happy to be back with them, and I just love our group. We just got to keep executing and try to get a win on Sunday.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Gene. All right, well, let's finish up with John Reed. Looks like that's the last question in the queue.
No problem. How you doing, Jarrod?
I'm good.
What's the mindset of this football team right now? Are you guys frustrated? Are you anxious to get back on the field? Or what is the mindset of the team right now?
To speak for everybody, I know we're 1-4. It's not the panic button is being pushed, but just a sense of urgency. We obviously have been in a tough couple games last week, and we're just trying to get a win, whatever that means, whatever that takes. So team's feeling pretty good. There's no one down or in the dumps. We're just trying to find a way to figure this thing out and get a W on Sunday.
Man, can you talk about Adrian Peterson? I mean, when you was in elementary school when he was playing, or what has it been like to see a guy with that much durability, that old, and still play at that level?
It's amazing. I actually had a fat head of Adrian Peterson on my wall growing up. So personally, he means a lot. You know what I mean? He's one of my top favorite players of all time. I've suited up against him before, so I'm not gonna act like a fan when I see him or nothing. But I just ton of respect for the man. Obviously, just a tremendous athlete and one of the greatest running backs of all time. And I'm just happy to get the opportunity to just play against him.
Thank you, man. You still got that fat head?
You know what? I don't know if I necessarily got it. It's at my mom's house though, but
Oh,
for
it
sure,
is?
I definitely had that 28 up in that Vikings, man. That's my dog, AP all day for sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks, John, and thank you, Jarrod. You're all done.
All right, got to see
Thanks,
y'all.
Jarrod.
Jarrod. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.